everyone, welcome. It's Michaela, but you can call me Mac. It is halfway through the year, so we are going to do a quick flip through of my reading journal. This is my first time ever making a reading journal. I got this notebook from Archer and Olive. It's also my first notebook from them. It's holding up pretty well. I also got the Neapolitan pages, which I absolutely love, and which is why my reading journal is a little bit random and chaotic, but like I said, this is the first time I ever did one, so let's just start flipping through this. Okay, so I don't know about you, but this gives me anxiety. This gives me so much anxiety, like adding my name to the beginning of my reading journal. I don't really know why. Maybe we will at the end of the year. I don't know. So I usually skip this first page just because it's always it's a lot shorter than all the other pages in most notebooks. However, because this is my first year doing a reading journal, and like I mentioned, it's a bit chaotic and all over the place, I realize I'm going to need an index, and so I'm thinking about creating an index on this page here. So here's my title page. I just have a little quote over here, and then I just use my typewriter stamps to match this typewriter theme for 2023. The first spread I have here is my monthly reads tracker, and basically I have these little checkout cards. Last year in 2022, I did a library checkout theme, and I really love that theme, so I wanted to carry it over again into this journal. So I have each one for each month here, and I only made enough to go all the way through August. So the second, or I guess the last quarter of the year, I'm gonna have to figure out how I want to track this. So far this year, I read 33 books, and like I said, I just use these to track them monthly. So jumping right into the next page, we have my alphabet challenge for the year. So basically on this page, I'm reading a book that starts with each letter of the alphabet. It is looking a little bare, so if you have any recommendations, drop them down in the comment section. I got a couple of different recommendations from a few different people for B and C and some other ones for W, X, Y, Z. So again, if you have some for the other letters, you are more than welcome to drop them down in the comment section, because I'm definitely looking for some. And same here, this is Read the Alphabet graphic novel edition. It's even more bare, so please, if you have any graphic novel recommendations, please drop them in the comment section. I really want to finish these challenges. I don't really have a reading goal in mind. However, I did set 52 books on Goodreads, just because there are 26 letters in the alphabet here and 26 letters in the alphabet here. So if I completed this challenge, I would at least get 52 books. But I really wanted to focus on doing fun challenges rather than reading for numbers, I guess. And here is my quotes page, where I just added different quotes from different books that I've read so far this year. My next page is my series tracker over here on this side, and I basically just track any series that I started. I honestly haven't updated this yet because some of these series, I'm looking at you, Akatar. I don't know if I even want to keep going because it wasn't that good. So I don't know. One of my subscribers did convince me to read the second book in the series, so I will try out the second book before I DNF the series, but this is where I track all of my series. And then I just put this quote page here. Some books you read, some books you enjoy, but some books just swallow you up heart and soul. I just love this quote. I just felt this quote. This was a really good one. And look at that, we're getting right into the spreads. Honestly, again, this is my first reading journal. I don't really know what I'm doing, so bear with me. And again, because I got the Neapolitan pages, you'll see some of the spreads kind of jump around. We'll get back to that. So right here I have a blank page. I'm thinking about either continuing on and putting some of these over here maybe for the last quarter of the year, or maybe I'll do a bookshelf or something. I'm not really sure yet. But anyway, here are the starts to some of our spreads, and then we get into some more challenges. So this is my spread for the honeymooners, and you'll see that I read this in February. Again, my journal is super chaotic. It just jumps around. I wanted to use the white pages, I wanted to use the brown pages and the black pages, so it definitely jumps around a bit. These are also some more spreads from the books I read. I really do not like this page or like how this page looks at all. This was definitely like one of my first, spreads in this book. However, I love this page. I love how Legends and Lattes turned out. I think it's a really cute spread, and I think it matches the book description perfectly. Okay, getting back into some more trackers and some challenges. So for this, I have the best book of the month, which I will actually end up filling in for the first half of the year at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. And then I have my book of the year, where I have this bracket, and we will figure out what is the book of the year at the end of the year. You can kind of see I split these up, so I have January going against July, March going against November, and so on, just because I didn't think it would be fair if I put January against February, February against March against April, and so on. So this next spread is top 10 of 2023 because I'm a bit indecisive. So the books that you see here, even though there'll be 12 best of the month, there may be like some months when I just had to pick a book because I didn't read any good books at all that month, or there might be some months where I read like 3 good books, but I can't, put them all here. So I'm just gonna have a top 10 of 2023. And back into some more spreads. And again, I'm just like kind of playing around with the different kind of things. I don't know, just trying out different things, trying to make them cool and unique and different. I want each spread to kind of like have something to do with the book or look like the cover pages. That time I got drunk and yeeted a love potion at a werewolf. This is the second book in the series. I didn't end up keeping it with the first book in the series spread, and you'll see why later, but I tried to match the pages with some other pages that like had the same kind of themes. So these vials and these bottles, for example, kind of were big pieces of each of these stories. So I just thought that these would look good on the same page. For this spread, Tea Dragon Society, this was part of my Read the Rainbow challenge. This was my green book for that challenge. I will be sure to link that video up above and down below if you want to go check it out. And I wanted to put this border around all of the pages that had the challenges, but I didn't end up doing that. So you'll see it on some, and others you'll see it in different ways. This was a graphic novel. I just loved the illustrations, so I really wanted to incorporate them into my journal. So this is my orange, yellow, and blue spreads for my Read the Rainbow challenge. This was another spread for the Read the Rainbow challenge. This was another yellow book that I did. And as you can see, I don't have a border or paint on this one at all. But I did use this really gorgeous handmade paper that I just absolutely loved. It's so gorgeous. This is a quote that I lettered. It just says, "I have lived 1,000 lives and I have loved 1,000 loves, and I've walked distant worlds and seen the end of time because I read." And this was a quote from George R.R. Martin. Here is another challenge that I'm doing, the Goodreads Choice Awards from 2022. So the Goodreads Choice Awards, I always feel like I cannot judge them fairly, because if I don't read every single book in the category, how am I supposed to be able to pick the book that I want to win? You know what I mean? I just don't think it's fair. So anyway, I'm going back and reading all of the books that won in 2022, all of the books I didn't read. And the category is, I think this was the very first page that I set up, and I did this gold leafing at the bottom. I really loved how this one turned out. And this was my first attempt at a Dutch door, and I really literal door, and I really like how this one turned out as well. This is my spread for Iron Widow, and I basically just wrote my review in this and just slipped it in there because I really wanted to have a picture heavy spread. This was my red book for the Read the Rainbow challenge, which I did incorporate the border, the painted border around. Oh my god, this next spread. I absolutely love this spread and I love this book. I have this little window here in between them. So cute. And I ended up writing my review in black, so it's kind of hard to see, but it has spoilers in it anyway. And I absolutely love this book. This book is so good. It was so surprising and so unexpected. I just fell in love. And then I have a quote here that is definitely a spoiler, so I will leave this covered. This was my review for Verity, also has heavy spoilers, so you can't really see that anyway. And then this was my spread for the Iliad and the Odyssey. I read the graphic novel versions of it. This is the spread for The Light We Lost. This is the book that my mom and I read backwards, so I wrote the review for it upside down, so it could like symbolize the fact that we wrote it backwards. I don't know, I was trying to like symbolize that in some way, and so that was my best way of doing it. But I actually really like how this spread turned out. Okay, so these are my spreads for books that I either didn't really have much to say about them, or I didn't really like them that much, so I didn't really know what to do with them. Also, in April, Alex and I were super sick and I did not feel like journaling, so that's kind of like why the April ones are here. But if I'm being honest, the only book I really liked in April was I'm Glad My Mom Died. These other two books, I just don't even know. I don't even know like what kind of things I would do for the pages for those. This was another challenge I did with my mom. We chose each other's books, and this was the book that she chose for me. This was like a choose your own adventure book, so it was really fun. And then these were like actual illustrations from the book that I just recreated in my journal here. The author and the illustrator actually saw my post on Instagram that showed this, and they were so sweet. They reached out and were just like, oh my god, this is so beautiful, I love this. And it just like made my heart so happy. Here's my spread for The Hating Game. I didn't really like this spread that much. It was not my best or my favorite one. This is my spread for Delilah Green Doesn't Care. I thoroughly enjoyed doing this one. I loved painting these wisteria flowers and doing like a watercolor painting. I definitely want to paint some more of these. And then I have like this gold, and I cut out this circle here, although I don't know if you can really tell it's like cut out, but I really like how this one turned out. Here is my Read the Rainbow page, and for the Read the Rainbow page, I was reading books that had queer representation in them, and each book had to match the colors of the rainbow. So I have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. The only book I did not read was A Lady for a Duke, so I plan to read that one soon. And then my last spread here is A Court of Thorns and Roses and That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. I really wanted to put these two on the same page because, for one, I really love this graphic of like the dragon from this book and this like beast wolf monster from A Court of Thorns and Roses. And these books are so similar. They have so many similar like things happening and plots and whatever, but this book was so good. So much better than this book, in my opinion. And this book was just so long. I just absolutely loved That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. And that is it. So we are gonna go all the way back to best book of the month. Okay, so for the best book of the month, I'm just going to grab each one here. Okay, so these are all the books that I read in January, and these are the ones that I gave 5 stars. And out of these books, I think I don't know, it's really hard to pick because these books were really good and they're different, and they're all different in their own way, but I think I'm going to go with Book Lovers as my favorite book for January. It was funny, it was different. I just think I really enjoyed reading that book for that month. So for February, I read these 4 books here, and I only gave one of them 5 stars, which was The Unhoneymooners. And this book was actually a reread, so I feel a little guilty choosing this one as my favorite book of the month, but I could not pick any of these other books to be my best book of the month when I read this gem of a book as well. March was another good month. I read all of these books here, and I gave these books 5 stars. And out of these books, I have to go with That Time I Got Drunk and Saved the Demon. This book is so funny. It's so hilarious. I still to this day think about this book. I love this book. I love this entire series. It's so good. Okay, as I mentioned, in April, I only read these 3 books here, and all of these are from the Goodreads Choice Award winner challenge that I'm doing, and I only gave one of these books 5 stars, so I had to obviously pick I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. This book was just very emotional and very well done, and my heart just goes out to her immensely for doing what she does, and I really hope she writes more books in the future. In May, I read these books, and I actually gave none of them 5 stars. However, I did give That Time I Got Drunk and Needed a Love Potion at a Werewolf the highest at 4.5 stars. This book was so good, and definitely has to be my favorite of the month for May. And lastly, for June, I read these books here, and I gave these ones 5 stars. And it's no surprise, let's be honest. If you are in my daily life, you know I have not stopped talking about this book since I finished it like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I am obsessed with this book. It's so good. The Darkness Outside Us is anyone's surprise. This book is so good. Definitely a contender for favorite of the year for sure, depending on what the rest of the year looks like. I cannot wait to see like what I'm gonna get for the rest of the year. I'm not gonna fill in these. I think I'll wait and hold off and fill these in at the end of the year. So far, these have been the best of the year, and no, I do not regret my choices. These are so good. I cannot wait to see what the rest of the year brings. Well, friend, that concludes my mid-year flip through. Check out the video right here on the left-hand side of the screen to hear more about the books that I read in June. And if you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so we can keep talking about books and creating things. As always, you are so appreciated. I will see you in the next one. Bye.